Why are most beach volleyball coaches not as effective at teaching skills as you wish they would be? In this video I'm going to share an idea that very well might be the root cause for a lot of the frustration that you have felt in your mission to become a better beach volleyball player. And once you understand this idea, the rest of your career might become a way smoother ride. Now, before I get started, I just need to say one quick little thing to the coaches that are watching this. Even though my primary audience is players, I also know that there's some coaches out there watching this channel. The idea that I'm about to share in this video might piss you off. It might even feel like a direct insult from me towards you. But please, please, please recognize that it's not. The only thing I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna explain a very natural way that things work in this world and the consequences of that. And please try to recognize that this idea could actually be a critical part of your coaching education, of your path to become a better coach. And really, I'm just trying to help us all out here. So this is not me trying to start a fight with anyone out there. And if you have counter arguments towards what I'm saying, please let me know in the comments. I'm all ears for it. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, here's the short version of this theory. Most coaches out there are or have been good players themselves. Also, most good players, in order to become good, they had to start playing the sport as kids. Also, most kids, when they learn skills, they sort of pick up things sort of unconsciously. They sort of are just kids and they just do, and then all of a sudden things work. A lot of us know that kids learn in general faster than adults, and that's just how kids naturally learn. Also, most people that don't really understand what they can do or how they learn to do what they can do are very effective teachers. So therefore, all of this together means that most of the beach volleyball coaches in the world are not so very good at teaching what they can do themselves. So this theory might or might not take some time for people to wrap their minds around and really get to that aha moment where you're like, shit, this makes sense. And there's a natural explanation for why a lot of my coaches aren't really able to teach me what they can do themselves. Anyway, I'll now go ahead and re-explain this theory with a bunch more details and a much longer explanation of this whole theory. That I also think it's worth your time to listen to, because there's going to be a lot of juicy details that makes a lot of sense. So, basically, think about all of the players in the world, all the beach volleyball players in the world. There's going to be a certain percentage of those that also become coaches. Of course, there are also some coaches that are not players, but those are pretty rare. So out of these players, out of this pool of players, quite obviously it's usually the better players that become coaches, because, well, otherwise the beginner players, they won't get too many clients, if we say so. And then the second problem is that it takes a while to become good. It takes a while in years, no matter what you do. And also, if we accept that in general kids learn skills faster than adults, that usually means that for someone to get to the skill level in beach volleyball where people would start trusting them as a coach is usually going to require this person to have started to play the sport as a kid. And secondly, about how you learn as a kid, I can only talk from my own experience. I spent my upbringing skateboarding and snowboarding. I know how to skateboard and snowboard, and I can do a bunch of cool tricks and stuff that most people in the world can't do. But it's funny because I've tried to teach people how to skateboard and snowboard, and it's very, very, very tricky. I can do it, but I don't really understand the necessary details. I don't really understand how to communicate how to hold your balance on a board. I don't really understand how to communicate the feeling that you should have to do certain things. It's really tricky stuff that I picked up when I was 8 years old or something. So I'm not a very effective teacher at how how to skateboard and snowboard. So really, when we put all of this together, we realized that most of the beach volleyball coaches out there are people that learn to play as kids, and most people cannot truly explain and teach what we learn as kids. So therefore, most beach volleyball coaches are not so good at teaching skills as you wish they would be. Now there's one little detail here, which is, why are beach volleyball coaches still sort of effective sometimes? I believe it's different to teach kids and adults. I coach mostly adults. I teach kids sometimes, but my primary audience and people I coach is adults. And I think the people that learn the sport as kids, they sort of remember what was done to them for them to learn. So it's enough to sort of give rough explanations to kids. Like, it's kind of done like this. And then the kid's sort of hyper learning brain just takes over and takes those rough instructions and then figures out the rest of the details themselves. But I believe that that's sort of something that adults can do to a much lesser extent. We are much more prone to take instructions literally, and then we're gonna go like, hey, this is what my coach told me to do, it has to be like this. And then if it doesn't work, we are still so stubborn or unable to try slight variations of the explanation and figure out even better ways, that, well, we just get stuck. And you see it every day. There are adults that are stuck with the same beach volleyball skills for year after year after year after year after year. And then they have coaches that don't really understand beach volleyball technique and skills at a very high detail level, so that they can pinpoint, this is actually what you're doing wrong, and explain it to them, so therefore they continue being stuck. And as I said before, my thinking and theories are never absolute. I have been thinking about this quite a lot, and I had a huge aha moment realization when I realized this, that this is just the natural way things work in the world. But if you think I have missed something, let me know in the comments, because I am really curious, and I wish this wasn't the case, but I really do think that this is the case. So what does this mean? Does it mean that we are all doomed? Well, I don't think we are all doomed, but I do think it's a lot easier for us to become good beach volleyball players if we understand this theory, and we sort of, in a way, accept that not all coaches will have all the answers that we need, or be able to explain the techniques that they themselves can do, but just somehow can't communicate to us. So part of the reason I made this video was to just get you aware of that, and hopefully this in itself will help you in the future. Also, I'll be honest, the second reason for this video is to explain why I'm different. So I'll just go into a small marketing pitch about myself, and then you will get to know how to take it from there. But if you feel any sort of hopelessness and like, what do I do now if my coach can't teach me? Well, then this might be out of interest for you as well. So anyway, I started playing this sport when I was 24, and I had basically no ball sports experience from the earlier part of my life. I was a skateboarder and snowboarder, and that has meant that I basically had to figure out everything from scratch. Of course, I have had coaches that have helped me and all sorts of stuff, but ultimately the best answers, the juiciest details, I basically had to work out on myself. I basically had to experiment a lot and sort of figure things out to get to the level where I am today. Also, the second part of this is that if I have a superpower, I believe that it's my ability to remember things that I learn. My ability to remember the aha moments I've had earlier in my life. I've often had friends that have told me that I should, when I get old, when I do whatever I do with my life, I should be some sort of teacher because of my ability to explain things, whatever we learned something in school or whatever. And they were always coming to me and like, hey, can you just explain this to me? And and I was often able to do that for them. And I really, really enjoy. This is just somehow a natural part of me. A lot of people don't have this. A lot of people don't like teaching, but it's just something I got for free. Something I got for free from my childhood that I don't know how I developed. But I really enjoy remembering how I learn things and then communicate those things to other people. So those two things combined, the fact that I did not pick this sport up as a kid and that I really enjoy remembering my aha moments and teaching them, basically together means that I usually say that whatever I can do in beach volleyball, I can teach pretty much anyone. Given some physical restraints, some people are, they can't jump or they're injured or whatever, but within limits I can pretty much teach anything I can do as long as I do get the time to do so. Everything cannot be taught in 5 minutes. Things are complicated, etc. But I know that a lot of coaches cannot claim what I'm claiming here. A lot of coaches openly say that they are not able to teach other people what they know they can do themselves. On top of that, I've also done almost insane amounts of studies about sort of how the human body and mind works when we pick up new skills, which is also a deep interest of mine that I do for fun, which also helps me a lot in becoming a more efficient coach. I have coached players from California, which after all is maybe the biggest beach volleyball mecca in the world. I have had players from there tell me that they could not find a coach that in years and months were able to pinpoint their problems. Yet me together with them, we were able to fix those problems within just a few hours of coaching. And there's nothing that is a superpower or magical about me. This is just a direct consequence of how I learned the sport versus how they learned the sport. So what about my weakness as a coach? Because everybody has those as well, right? Well, at least one of my weaknesses is my marketing. The easiest way for coaches to market themselves is to say that, hey, I won this and that tournament and I played here and there and there. Because, well, it's very quick and easy to explain, and it gives you a lot of authority very quickly. Problem with me is that I don't have those finishes yet, and I haven't played in all of those tournaments yet, simply because, well, there hasn't been enough time yet, and I still have stuff I need to fix with my game, etc. I played at a somewhat high level. I can, if I play with people that are in the top 20 of players in Sweden, I can sort of play with them, not make too much of an embarrassment with myself, and every now and then I can even win. So I am sure that I still have stuff to work on, and I'm working on it continually, but I am sure those finishes will come soon enough. Anyway, why I'm telling you all of this is basically to let you know that there's a golden opportunity right now before the marketing for me becomes easy. Right now my marketing is I have to be lucky enough for someone to listen to a lot of time of me talking until they understand from having listened to me a long time that I know what I'm talking about. And because it takes a certain amount of attention span to do that, and a certain amount of curiosity to actually continue listening to me when I don't start my videos with, hey, I have won this and this tournament, listen to me. So that's my weakness. But once that day happens, when I can also market myself that way, well, the chances are that I'll be maxed out in just coaching capability, because there's only 24 hours a day and I'll have to raise my prices. Already now in the European summers, I don't really have time to take on more clients. So I'm sure that this will happen one day. So basically why I'm telling you this is that I believe there's probably people that are on the fence on if they trust me enough, if they want to hire me as a coach or not. And I'm just saying to, well, grab your chance while it's possible, because actually it might be much more expensive and harder to do in the future. And this is not me trying to be obnoxious or anything. I'm just trying to create a win-win situation here so that the people that are on the fence won't have to regret later. And also it's going to be quicker for me to create this project, because the sooner I can go over into coaching and this project being my only source of income rather than doing other jobs, well, basically my mind is spending more hours in volleyball and less hours in something else, which means that all of this will just only get better. So yeah, that was it. A small little marketing pitch from me. Don't know if it will work or not, but in case you are looking for coaching from me, then there's more info on my website. And I do hope that you see how this is only a win-win for the people that are on the fence of it. If you have a friend that you think would benefit from seeing this video, well, please share the video to them. Also, if you would want more content from me, there is more and more content starting to be in the Facebook group of mine. I have spent quite a lot of time into some of the answers to questions there, and really I do know that a lot of people out there are hungry for more content, etc. So there is more content in the Facebook group. Just join the Facebook group and read around the comments, and there's going to be a lot of quite long posts with a lot of insights from me, if that's what you want. All right, see you in the next video or podcast episode, and have a good day.